My name is Rob Stephenson. I am a full-time campaigner around creating mentally healthier workplaces that are free of stigma and that enable everybody in the workplace to prioritise their mental well-being. This is a really personal issue to me. I experience bipolar disorder. I was diagnosed when I was 30. I'm 47 now, and I learnt to manage my condition. I learnt that sleep is important. I learnt that exercise is important. I learnt that giving myself a score every day out of 10 to manage my subjective well-being helps. Today I'm an 8. If I'm a 7.65 over the next few days, I want to know why. Mindfulness works for me. I use medication, I see a therapist. There's lots of things that I do to manage my mental well-being. But I've been forced to do so and forced to discover what works for me because I have a disorder. I can see the signs of my condition going back to my 20s. I tell the story of my first year at university where I'm alone in my room. It's about 7 p.m. and there's a knock at the door and I freeze and I stop and I pray that I've locked the door. I pray that the people on the other side of the door cannot come in. I'm experiencing fear and eventually they walk away and I can relax, I can breathe again. And the thing is, that was two of my best friends at university coming to pick me up at the time. We agreed. I could not face them and I did not know why. I could also tell you the time on my 30th birthday where the cake is brought out and presented in a big train of the staff singing and dancing in a Moroccan restaurant, and it's given to the head of the table, and it was my best friend because I was not there. I was alone in somebody else's flat and I could not face being out for my birthday celebrations. Soon after that, I was off work for 3 weeks and I realised I needed to seek help. And I saw the doctor and I was diagnosed with depression, which later became a bipolar diagnosis. And I thought, great, I can be fixed, I can be mended, the medical profession can make me well. And for a while I was. And then I wasn't. And the depression came back, but it came back with a loss of hope, where I felt everything was futile. And this is where my story gets a little bit darker, where in the summer of my 31st year, I attempted to end my life, where I thought I would never recover from this illness. But from that low point, I was looked after by close friends and family, and I learned all of those things that I mentioned to proactively manage my mental health. But I did so under the radar for many years. And it was under the radar because I had a fear that clients would see me differently in my recruitment business. I had a fear that friends would treat me differently, that my staff wouldn't want to work for me. And that fear is stigma. It is the stigma of mental ill health. And it's this stigma that we need to smash because that is stopping people getting the help that they need. And my light bulb moment came in October 2017 when I heard a chap called Jeff McDonald speak. And Jeff is a long-time campaigner around breaking stigma. And I sat there in the audience hearing Jeff tell his tale of anxiety and depression and the loss of a friend of his to suicide. And I felt shame. And the reason I felt shame was because there's me, a successful business owner with great people around me, great staff, supportive partners. And yet every week when I'd go and see my therapist, I put the word physio in my diary. Physio, for years. My team must have thought I have the worst physiotherapist in the world that cannot fix this back injury. And yet, every Monday I'm coming in telling tales of 100-mile bike rides. It didn't make sense. It felt dishonest. So at that moment, I decided to be open, to come out and share my story of mental ill health. But I was also inspired to see how could I make a difference? How could I contribute to smashing the stigma? To creating workplaces where you can speak out. So I founded my social enterprise called Inside Out. And Inside Out is basically a vehicle designed to help smash the stigma by showcasing senior leaders who are open about their lived experience of mental illness, mental ill health. Because when our leaders speak out, two things happen, and they're both around changing cultures. We can get the culture in the workplace that allows people to seek help for mental ill health, but also we can start to change the culture to one where everybody can prioritise their mental well-being. But the thing is, with mental well-being, it's difficult to know how to do that unless you've been forced to discover what works for you. So this is the reason I'm so excited about BetterSpace, the technology platform, because BetterSpace helps discover what works for you. And I think everybody watching this and everybody here at Affinity for Business has a great opportunity to really get into the platform and work out, is it sleep, is it balancing stress, is it social connection, is it doing good in the world, and finding out what works for you. Because for me, I've undergone that discovery through years of trial and error. So it's great that you have the culture to be able to prioritise well-being, and hopefully the BetterSpace tool will be a great platform for you to really work out what does work for you. So for me, I am on a mission to help smash the stigma, but also to help educate people that we all have mental health. And I believe one of the biggest performance gains we can make is by prioritising our mental well-being and working out how to actually boost our well-being. Because if we can do that, we'll be happier, we'll be more productive, and ultimately we'll be higher performing. So I'd like to wish you all the best with the BetterSpace trial, and I look forward to seeing the results of you using the platform over the next 3 months.